Playing politics with guns, playing politics with lives. I'm Brian Lilley with TheRebel.media. Members of Parliament did the right thing on Tuesday. They read out statements hailing Constable Daniel Woodall and all the first responders that put their lives on the line for us every day. Constable Woodall died when he was shot trying to execute an arrest warrant in Edmonton on Monday night. He and his partner, Sergeant Jason Harley, had approached the home of Norman Raddatz, a man wanted on hate crimes charges. Edmonton police describe Raddatz as someone known to them, but not someone with an extensive criminal record. The officers approached the door of the home. They were both wearing body armor. As they were at the door, shots came from inside the home. Without warning, he shot through the door. Sergeant Harley was hit in the back. His body armor, we're told, saved his life. Constable Woodall's body armor, we're told by Edmonton's police chief, was not engaged in this incident. Those are the words he used, meaning he was likely hit by the bullet somewhere where the bulletproof vest doesn't cover and died of a catastrophic wound. What happened to Constable Woodall is awful. It's not lip service to say we do owe a debt of gratitude to all the first responders that put themselves on the line every day. After the shooting, Edmonton firefighters then rushed to the scene because the house went up in flames. It looks like Raddatz lit his house on fire after shooting at police and killing Constable Woodall. So can you imagine doing that? A police officer is shot. You don't know what's going on, but you are rushing to the scene to douse the flames anyway. That's an example of why we owe first responders our thanks. And the truth is that people like Constable Woodall know there is risk with their job, often great risk, and yet they do it. Edmonton hasn't seen a police officer shot and killed on the job since 1990, but that risk is still there. Unfortunately, so are the politics as well. Within hours of Constable Woodall's death, Edmonton's mayor was using it to push for a return of the now long-gone long gun registry. Asked about this shooting, coming just days after someone else shot at a police officer, Iveson brought up the gun registry. Quote, "I do have a concern with gun violence, and I will say that the loss of the gun registry may be related to this. I think every opportunity our police have to have knowledge of where firearms are in this city would be to their advantage, and the chiefs of police have been consistent about that." The mayor has since retracted, sort of. He went on Twitter and said the timing wasn't right. Speculation about gun registry this morning was premature. Focus should remain on our condolences and safety of EPS members and public. Apologies. Now, let me make something clear here. Short of showing up with a SWAT team behind shields, there is little that could have been done here to show up with a different outcome. We don't normally arrest people in this country using SWAT teams. Even if the officer still had the registry and knew Raddatz was a licensed gun owner, little would have changed. For a hate crimes warrant over harassment online to arrest a man that has had little other contact with police, well, you wouldn't have sent out the SWAT team. We don't know the whole story yet, but from what I've read, what I've heard, what I've seen, it looks like Constable Woodall and Sergeant Harley followed procedure. They simply had no idea that they were dealing with a man willing to shoot at two cops and then light his own home on fire, taking his own life. Yet that's what they had. A man willing to go to extreme measures, to lengths the police could not have guessed. Even with the gun registry, this could have happened in exactly the same way. I've spoken to police officers, frontline officers, current and former, who tell me in a situation like this, they have to assume they are facing a threat, firearm or otherwise. Constable Woodall likely did. He likely assumed there was a risk, but he couldn't have foreseen what happened. Another note, if this was a legal gun Raddatz used, and we don't know that yet, then the officers would have at least known that he was a licensed gun owner. While the registry is gone, the same police check that they used to use for the gun registry will tell the officers if the person they're going to see has a gun license. Mayor Iveson is not the first person to use a tragedy like this to push for the return of the registry. He won't be the last, unfortunately. Recently, the mayor of Hamilton called for a ban on guns after gangsters engaged in a shootout on a major road. They were using illegal guns, meaning they wouldn't follow a ban anyway. But making the call allowed Mayor Fred Eisenberger to feel like he was doing something. It's likely the same with Mayor Iveson. He wanted to feel like he was doing something at a moment of grief. But knee-jerk reactions to bring back systems that don't work won't help anyone, and they won't bring back the life of Constable Woodall. He was killed by a violent extremist, we're told possibly part of the Freemen on the Land movement. We should be focused on finding out what happened, getting to the bottom of it, including whether that is the case. Instead, we're sidetracked by silly comments, best forgotten.